the head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dog passed away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't match the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be
Winter reveals the hidden lie. Moonlight could mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.
all the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody this evening? Hi there, Mommy. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine.
Good. Oh, look, is that egg?
hmm
Yeah.
This is her.
No. Well,
Ethan's
Mommy,
behind me. I don't think
Mommy's baby. Mommy lost her baby the other night. We don't really. I don't know if she wants to talk about it or not.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
I didn't think so. So we are not going to talk about it, and we're just going to move right on along. Okay, guys. So, oh, bless her, Jesus. It's all right, Mommy.
It's all right. I got this kitty here I'm petting.
Yes. Bless its heart. We get awful attached to him. All right. So, tonight we are going to look at some of the flood money stuff. So I started looking a while back, and I just kind of kept waiting on other people to do it. And I kind of came to the conclusion that nobody else was going to do it. Maybe people don't know how.
They don't know how. They don't have the time. They don't have the interest. And, you know, you got to be a certain, you got to be sort of.
You have to have the knowledge about this stuff. And if you don't have the knowledge.
You have to have the computer knowledge, and you got to be, you know, you got to be a bit of a A hound dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. You can't let people scare you off.
Right,
You'll
right.
have a lot of things said to you when you try to expose things.
Well, and especially in this part of Appalachia, that's for sure. I had so yesterday I put up a video of Judge Mullins, and it was actually of Judge Mullins swearing in the jailer Bert Sloan. I didn't say anything. It was a video of Judge Mullins, and he just happened to be swearing in Bert. It wasn't a video, I just ran across it, and it showed Mullins talking, and it really showed kind of his personality, and so that's why I shared it, just to show people what his personality, give them a little insight into what his personality was like. And the next thing I know, that Bert was putting a comment on it saying that all I did was I was just a big liar, and my stuff was, everything that we did was just fake and false and all these stuff. And it is just like, where have you been? Like, what are we doing? We're usually talking about the power company or something else. I don't even know what he was talking about. But anyway, it didn't bother me, but it was just kind of like, I get frustrated that when people don't watch the show and then they put words in your mouth and they make it, they start responding to questions that you never even asked. It's like, I don't want to know any of this stuff. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. How is everybody tonight? It has been so cold here that I have not hardly been able to get up and do anything but work. Oh, yes, Philip says, you got to have a rhino skin suit on. Armadillo. I'm getting an armadillo skin. What about you, Mommy? What kind of skin do you have?
Well, mine's pretty thin and a little on the rough side these days. Yeah, I'd say you're getting thick skin.
Oh, yeah, it don't bother me one bit. Not really. Okay. So, have you ever noticed how fast help shows up, but how slow answers come? So, after the flood hit eastern Kentucky, people all over this country stepped up. The devastation was just awful, wasn't it, Mom? People lost their homes, everything in them. People's homes were maybe built in flood zones. I don't know. I don't understand that. Were the camp houses, or did they build these houses in flood zones back in those days or something?
Well, the thing of it is that mining companies owned all the good land. You know how that goes. And so the only place people could build was down, next to the rivers and such, because that's where it was wide enough too, where they had some. But people have always lived in these flood zones along this river. But see, we're the headwaters. So what happens is it rains and it comes up quick, and it just goes all over the place.
Well, now that's pretty sure true.
So it was bound to happen, but the years of mining and all that stuff didn't help it any, because the root structure of the trees and such were messed up, and the creeks had gotten filled. The creek beds filled up with soot and stuff from the coal, and you can't dredge your stream beds. You should not do that.
Well, there have been a lot of discussion about that. You know, what should you dredge them? Should you not dredge them?
Well, I think the government's got some sort of regulations on it because of protecting species that live in it.
Oh, well, it's been a really big discussion and point here. Let me.
But
That on in the
it's
background.
always flooded in Neon. Ever since I've been here, it's flooded every year or every 2 years. And then, of course, we had a flood last February also. But we flood all the time. It just, that time, it was the worst.
It was. So we have had 2 floods. Cypher says, when did this flood happen? We've had 2. The first one was in 2022. And then the second one happened in 2025. Was it?
Yeah, it'd be February.
February. And it was kind of in different places. Like the first one, well, some places got hit twice. So I can't say that it was. Look at this. This was devastating. It really was. And they ended up coming, you know, like you can imagine how many donations and how many people came, stepped up trying to help, right?
Every organization that goes to floods and rescues, I didn't know there was that many places that went to where it was flooded. You know, they go to help out. They're nonprofits are what they are, for most of them.
Well,
and so they were here. They were here. I ate for 3 months without having to fix anything, I think. There was people all over the place cooking. I mean, it just wiped Neon out. We're the headwaters. So all the water that runs through Letcher County originates in Letcher County.
well, there were a lot of church groups that came in. A lot of them, you know, they just piled up in school buses and in trucks and in vans and in buses and church buses, and they just showed up in droves, and they were trying to help people, you know, rebuild their homes and rebuild their lives.
There was no rebuilding of so many of the homes, and they were poor people anyway that was living down there, and so they just didn't have any place to go. They had a camp. They were in campers down in Whitesburg, back there behind down there near the grocery store. You know where I mean? Down there where them roads come together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where, and they had a bunch of campers there, but they stayed about a couple of years, I think was all they could stay, but they still didn't have enough to.
They were FEMA trailers.
I think that's what they were, yes.
They were FEMA trailers. And you had
and then we had a place. They had a place over at Fish Pond. They were camped over there all over too.
Oh yeah.
That's the 2 that I knew about. It was, I don't know where the people have all gone now, but they surely didn't, we haven't built any homes near here that are of the homes. There have been some built.
Now that's kind of what we're gonna talk about tonight, Mama. You was right on time with that. Now,
Well,
okay,
I hope I was helpful
you are. You're always
and
helpful.
that I was, and I hope that it was a true representation. I wouldn't want to lie.
Oh no,
It's what
you
I
are.
understand.
Yeah.
I don't
So
want to sit there mislead people, and I don't want to be, I don't want to do poverty porn. You know what I'm saying? Oh, woe is us.
pull your
But
camera.
that's why so many people helped us, is they know the situation here and how the people don't have the advantages that they have other places. But
Pull your camera down.
they respect the fact that the people here are attached to their families and to the land and don't want to leave.
Going 5-0.
Pull your camera down.
To seek. Oh, Macias.
Yes, we're staring at the hole in the ceiling.
Well, that's my hole, and I like it.
But you're talking. Now we can see you.
Okay, so they were, the people respect that, and they wanted to help us. Some woman sent me $1,000, and I went down and gave it to one of the organizations to help people. I mean, just send it to me, a personal check. I
How
thought,
many people, and you think, but okay, that's a really good idea or a good example. How many people you think got done that way that money didn't make it to where it was supposed to go? I'd say a whole lot. Well, I'm not going to say that. I've got prepared remarks. So that way I don't say anything that I should not say.
Yeah, you say some stuff that ought not be said sometimes, I do think.
So let me stick to my prepared remarks, okay?
Yeah, I act like a nice girl.
Okay, so after the flood hit eastern Kentucky, people all over this country stepped up. Money came in from everywhere. Foundations, nonprofits, donors, government programs, millions of dollars. And it came in because people believed something simple, that it would help the people here. Families that lost everything, homes wiped out, communities underwater. But now we're a couple years out, and a lot of folks are still asking, where did that money go? Now, listen, I'm not here to accuse nobody. That's not what we're doing. I'm here to understand something that honestly most people don't understand at all. Because when you start digging into the money, when you start trying to follow the money, you run into something called nonprofits. And on the surface, that sounds so good, don't it? It sounds so just good. Helping organizations, helping people, community groups, folks doing good work, doing the Lord's work. But when you really look at how they operate, it's not always clear where the money ends up. So I started looking. I started pulling tax filings. I tracked revenue. I looked at what came in after the flood, and I filed an open records request to try and get some answers. I filed more than one. And what I got back, well, I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. But tonight, we're going to walk through this together. What a nonprofit actually is. How flood money flows through them. Lots of them. What the documents show and why it's so hard to get any clear answers. Because this isn't about drama, it's about transparency. And when millions of dollars come into a place like Eastern Kentucky, people deserve to understand what happened to it, because a lot of it was meant for those people. But when you start going around asking people, did you get any relief? Did anybody help you? Did you get any of that money to help you with your situation? Huh?
Well, I didn't have any flood damage because I sit on this hill. But I ate the food, and they had all kinds of giveaway things. I mean, there was tons of stuff given away to the people. And I got some of that, but I don't know. We need some We need some new houses.
I'm not talking about food, and I'm not talking about necessarily you. I mean,
well, they have used,
and I don't mean money. Okay, I'm not asking.
They've done all kinds of projects in Neon that I'm sure is funds that came from that flood. Right now they're laying sidewalks. They've laid them on both sides. They've really used that money, that Neon's used their money to work on the town.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because that is a very big, different people got different money, right? So do you know who's laying the sidewalk? Is it the city of Neon, or is it another organization that has come in to help the city of Neon?
Well, I'm sure the city of Neon hired somebody to come and lay those sidewalks.
I mean the money, Mom.
I don't know. I think it's a grant that they gave the city of Neon. The city of Neon's not paying for it out of our tax dollars.
There you go.
Lots of grants.
Yes, there's lots of grants. That's where these tax filings show, they have to show how much money they got each year. Now, a lot of the money is not easily traced. It's not easily tracked. The goal is, let's rewind for just a second. The flood hit Eastern Kentucky hard. Now we're talking homes completely gone, entire neighborhoods wiped off the map completely.
Well, it washed our whole town off.
Whole towns gone. People displaced overnight. Hundreds and thousands of people. And when that happened, the response was huge. Money started flowing in from every which way. National nonprofits, regional foundations, private donors, concerts, government relief programs. I mean, it was millions and millions and hundreds of millions and this was reported. This was all over the news. It was all over the newspapers, the TVs, all the networks, all this money that they had raised that was going to help the people of southeastern Kentucky.
I think the world has a soft spot for us.
Yeah, but how many people have you seen or talked to that have said, man, they sure did help me. I had so many people, or whatever. Here's the key. A lot of that money did not go directly to and we're not talking, I did not expect for anybody to get cash money, right? Nobody ever gets that. They really don't. So none of that money went directly to individuals. Instead, it goes to organizations. It goes to nonprofit. And then it's up to that nonprofit what they do with that money. So what a nonprofit actually is, this is critical for explaining this very simply. Let me break it down in plain English. A nonprofit is an organization that doesn't have owners. It doesn't pay profits to shareholders and is supposed to serve a mission. Sounds good, right? But here's what most people don't realize. Nonprofit does not mean no salaries. It does not mean no growth. No. It does not mean that there is no control over how money is spent. Now, the key point, a nonprofit can receive money, and instead of handing it out or using it individually, that nonprofit can use that money to pay their employees. They can use that money to build programs. They can use that money to cover operational costs. They can use that money to expand itself.
Watch this shit.
So, when you donate or when money is sent for disaster relief, that does not mean it goes straight to the people. People need to know this. They need to know where their money goes when they are emotionally tugged at their heartstrings to donate.
Some of the organizations did give out some money.
Who?
Well, I think the one that goes through Apple Shop gave money to people.
Well, we would have to know. We'd have to know the details of it, and I want to know how much they gave and how many people that they gave it to, because we hear a lot of things that aren't always true, and we hear a lot of things that aren't always fully true.
I forget what that nonprofit is called.
Well, this is where everything that I got, we got this directly from the IRS tax filings. There ain't no speculation in nothing that we're talking about tonight. This comes directly from their own numbers. Now, there are several nonprofits around here that took in a whole lot of flood money. And I didn't go looking at no specific ones. Now, I've just followed the money, okay? That's it. I followed the money, and this is where the money led me. This is where the tax filings led me. All right. So, let me pull one of them up here. I think I exited those off. So let me pull it back up. We're just going to look at a couple tonight. Oh, well, it's wanting to go to Kane Kitchen first. Okay. And we'll go to 23. So we're looking at a couple different places. Now this one is Kane Kitchen from 22 and 23. It's their $9.90. their year for 2023. Now, this is one example. Okay. This is a nonprofit operating right here in the area in Whitesburg. Or Cowan, I'm not sure. Or it's in Whitesburg, ain't it, Mom?
Yeah. They now have the Cowan Community Center, of course, has their operations. And then the Cane Kitchen itself is located in the old Whitesburg Hospital, and it belongs to the community center too. And now they've been given, some man gave them the old post office downtown.
Wow.
So they have a Cowan Community Center there now too.
Well, their total revenue jump after the flood, hundreds of thousands coming in, and now look where it goes. Salaries increase, expenses increase, program costs increase, but here's what you don't see with Cane Kitchen. Any lists of families that were helped, direct payments to any individuals, any clear this money went here breakdown. Now, everything is grouped into categories, which most of these filings that I've looked at are done that way. And that's why it's so difficult to track the money. One of the ways that we are able to, it's just a whole lot of work. You have to put in the public records requests with the Department of Local Government, the DLG. You have to put your local or your public records requests in with the county judge executive's office and the fiscal court. You have to put your open records requests in with the city, depending on which city it is. And you put your open records requests into these nonprofits, but they are not subject to the same kinds of laws and like disclosure laws that the municipalities are. So, I mean, they could give it to you, but maybe they wouldn't give it to you. I don't know. But whenever it's a grant, whenever it's any kind of a grant, that's where we are able to then go through like the Department of Local Government or whoever was the entity that was distributing that. Because then like places like Homes Inc., these building nonprofits that were supposed to help build homes and stuff like that, they have to then pay their contractors. And so whenever they spend that money, they have to turn in those receipts. They have to keep those kinds of records on because a lot of these grants are like reimbursement grants too. So now I don't know about these. I don't think the flood money was that, but some grants are reimbursement grants. And so as these organizations are working, they have to turn in requests. They have to turn in those reimbursement requests to the grant lender to get that money. Now, contributions and grants, salaries, other expenses, they're pretty big. And other expenses is a big unknown bucket. I can't see this. I'm gonna have to pull it up here. Let me pull my side up over here. Okay, I gotcha.
You got your glasses on?
I got them on top of my head. I didn't have it over here. All right, so contributions and grants. Actually, let me go ahead and pull it down. We'll remove it off of here, and I'll share my screen, and that way I can zoom it in. I can't zoom it in on that way. All right, here we go. Okay. So this one here, this, make sure this is the wrong, no, this is Apple Shop. Grab the wrong one. We're going to look at Apple Shop too real quick. Okay, and here we go. This is 2024 for Kane Kitchen. So this is a year. All right. 2024 wasn't near as big of a year as 2023. I may need to get 2023 up because we might want to look at both of those. But for 2024, contributions and grants for 2024, 400. Okay, it's showing us the prior year. So that would have been 22 that was so big. Oh, wow. Okay. So the prior year on this, so that would have been what? 23. So that would have been 22. $432,228. The current year, $499,000. So about 70,000 more. Total revenue for Kane Kitchen, $766,000, 459. So you might as well say $767,000 in total revenue. Current year, $945,000, $838. So that's almost $1 million revenue for 2024. Salaries and other compensation. Here's a very interesting tidbit. It went from $266,000. So they're paying half. They're paying out half. Their contributions and grants was $432,000. They're paying out $267,000 in salaries, other compensation, and employee benefits. They don't have that many employees working there, do they, Mom? Zelma, are you asleep?
I was just going to sleep. So what did you say?
I said salaries and other compensation, employee benefits. Well, then it jumps. It jumps. Kane Kitchen jumps from $267,000 to $408,000 in salaries. So Kane Kitchen for 2024, they paid out $408,000 in
They
salaries.
hire a ton of people because they got all those people that work for Kane Kitchen. And well, I don't know who they are. You just go up there and drive through the thing to pick that food up, and there's people all over the place. Anytime
Yeah,
I've ever,
but a lot of those I think work in those programs. A lot of those are I'd say a lot of those people that work up there are the volunteers that work through their doing their community service, doing their drug court. I know a lot of them work there. So it's very surprising. I'd like let's see if it tells us what the individual salaries are. Other expenses, $588,000, $562,000. Total expenses, $970,000. Revenue less expenses, it goes in the negative. Total assets, $250,000, $326,000. Liabilities, net assets, and fund balances. These tax records are always so surprising to me. All right, compensation. Nanette Banks, nothing. Oh, those are the board members. So the board members, let's see. You got Nanette Banks, Mike Cottle, Valerie Horn. Shocking to see Mike Cottle on there. Mike Cottle is also the CEO of MCHC, isn't he? Or not the CEO. He's their lawyer, I think. And I think he might be the COO or something. He's some bigwig at MCHC. He's also a former state police officer, if it's the same one. I think it is. He seems to be on a whole lot of these boards and a whole lot of these big important things in Whitesburg. I wonder what that means.
I don't know.
I think it means influence in every single direction. Got his finger in everything.
I don't know him.
Occupancy, 90,000 is what they spent. Depreciation, 46,000. Insurance, they only paid 9,000. Food purchases and costs of meals, other expenses, $273,000. And they put it in the same. Total expenses, program service expenses, dues and subscriptions, 2,000. Contract services, 75,000. Maintenance and repair, just $1,100.
That wasn't much.
Okay. Total assets. I think the biggest takeaway from this was the donations that they made.
That they received or that they made?
That they made.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Let me finish reading this. So, total revenue jump after the flood. Hundreds of thousands coming in. Now look where it goes. It went into salaries. The salaries increased. The expenses increased. Program costs increased. Like I said, you don't see any individual places where you can see the like names of families that were helped, any kind of lists of people, direct payments that were made to any individuals. None of that is there.
No, they don't. I have not known them to give any money out like that, but now they give out a ton of food. I said that they must have I said Valerie Horn must have a direct line to an angel.
Well, but that's not.
She gets the food.
Okay, but that's not donated, Mom. That's not in
That food
whatever that's coming from, it's not being listed in the taxes. And
no, it
this is
isn't.
what we are.
They have to hire people to. They have to hire people to distribute that food.
Huh?
The food has to be distributed. So they have these trucks, these huge trucks. This is the food part. That's all I'm talking about. There's other things they do too. And those great big trucks will come down there and they load that stuff off to the island. And that food is usually given to them.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they have to distribute that food to the different families. So they have these people out here. They'll have.
That was like Mickey Stein's in the
Well, no, he came and picked it up. I'm talking about people standing out there. A lot of those people are hired to hand out that food.
Okay. Well, I've never known anybody that got paid that got hired to hand out food. So I'm going to have to find somebody to see what you're talking about. Because I think that a lot of them are working with the jail, because that's what the jail and work release program does. They
don't have any of them working there. They sometimes do some stuff. Well, okay.
Well, I mean, they show it all over Facebook, Mom.
I never saw any of them down there.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong. But let's go by these taxes, because this is what I prepared. These
well, okay. I just feel probably different about nonprofits. I know some of them are corrupt, but we wouldn't have all that food that people in the county, there's no restriction on it or anything. And I went down there and got the awfulest bunch of tomatoes, and I've had free tomatoes all year.
Well, good. I'm glad.
I kept them in my shed.
We're not picking on them. That's what I said to begin with.
I'm not saying
follow the money. I went where it told me they sent the money. When it showed where it went, that's all I did was just follow where it said that it sent the money. Okay. So now this month, everything is grouped into categories, like I said. Now, contributions and grants, salaries, other expenses. Now, compare that to a foundation like the grant list. Let me pull up this other one. Mom's got me all tore up. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm sorry.
Well, you're all right. You've got me on two completely different things now. None of that was what I was trying to talk about.
I know you wasn't.
I'm sorry. All right. So here we got another one. Let me pull it up. This one is the foundation for grants and other. Let me pull it up. So this one shows where it did. So this is grants and other assistance to organizations, governments, and individuals. This was a list. This was the foundation for Appalachian, Kentucky. Now this gave $20,000 to East Kentucky Corporation. They were in Paintsville. To further the exempt of purpose of the organizations. I don't know what that means. It just shows, it says the purpose of grant or assistance. So they got $20,000. A1 HVAC, they got $13,400 for disaster relief. So that is, see, this is the list. This is a list of the kind of work, the kind of money that I was looking for. We've got Adams Plumbing and Heating. They got an $8,500 grant for disaster relief. And see, it's amount of cash grant. People needed this. This helps. Well, I mean, there was a whole lot that helped people, but you can imagine that a lot of these disaster relief people, you know, they were the ones that were coming in here doing the work. You've got Appalachian Community Fund. They were from Knoxville, Tennessee. They got a $25,000 grant. Appalachian Research and Defense Fund of Kentucky, that was Apple Red. In Prestonsburg, they got $50,000, $536. Did it say what year this was? Yeah, January 2025. So this was after the flood. But January, it was in between the two floods. It was in between, after the first one and before the second one. Appalachia Service Project, Johnson City, they got $201,000 grant. Bobby Howard and Sons, Heating and Cooling, they got a $9,300 disaster relief grant. Breathitt County Community Health Foundation, $8,300. Buckhorn School, $36,000. Bulladine Community Foundation, they got $6,000. CASA of the Appalachian Mountains, $12,000. Cedar Inc., Church of God, Militant Pillar and Ground of Truth, $7,500. City of Albany, $40,000. Albany, Kentucky. City of Hazard got $8,600 for the purpose, or to further the exempt of purpose of the organization. City of Hindman, they got $15,000. City of Jackson, $10,000. City of Pikeville, $10,000. Exposition Center. So the Expo Center got $10,000. Clinton County High School, $13,000. Coats for Kids, Pikeville Rotary Club, $7,500. Concerned Letcher Countyans, LLC, $40,000. Who's the Concerned Letcher Countyans in Whitesburg? Because I'm going to look them up. They got $40,000. Corbin Boys Golf Team, they got $5,200. Corbin Girls Golf Team, same amount. Cowan Community Action Group, $20,000. Davidson Baptist Church, $10,000. Discount Auto Brokers, $25,000. You might as well say, for disaster relief. East Kentucky Dream Center, $10,500. Discount Auto Brokers Inc. is a 501c3. What? I don't get. What is that? Discount Auto Brokers? So a car lot or a car people or is a nonprofit? East Kentucky Dream Center. They got $25,000. East Kentucky Dream Center got $10,500. East Tennessee Foundation, $3,100. Elkhorn Community Church, they got $7,500. Faith Life Ministries, $37,500. FBC, Prestonsburg Baptist Learning Center, $8,000. First Presbyterian Church, $10,000. Foothills Festival, Albany, $10,000. Frontier Housing Inc., Flemingsburg Road, in Moorhead, Kentucky. See, they got $158,000. Now, I tracked a ton of money to Homes Inc. right in Whitesburg. And one of the things that I found very interesting, they also did not give out any money. But with their money, it shows that they took it and they sunk every bit of it, just about it, into building materials. But whenever you go look to see, because they may have put all that money into materials, but then you're going to have other stuff that's going to go up in comparison as they build stuff, right? They're going to have contractors that they're going to have to hire to do the work. So you take all this money and they sunk it all into building materials for homes that they're then going to go build and then sell. Did you follow what I just said? Oh.
I did, yeah.
So
they sell those homes to people.
They sell them. Now, they may have had some program or some contract or some agreement where they were going to build a certain amount of homes for flood victims. But here's something very interesting. One of my friends contacted me and said, hey, I went to try and buy one of those homes because she lost everything. She's a single mom. She lost everything. She lost her house. She lost her car. She lost everything. I think, but she did. She lost her home, I know. But anyway, she said, I tried to buy one of those homes. She said, I went and tried to fill everything out and do it all. She was like, I was shocked. She said, you have to have a real good credit score. Well, what about people that don't have a good credit score that lost everything? They're just shit out of luck and they're just out of the picture. They don't get nothing. They don't qualify. That's the problem. How many people actually qualified according to the guidelines and the criteria that you have to have financially to even get any kind of services from homes? I know that I've called them myself 2 or 3 times in my lifetime at different situations, needing some help with different things. I never qualified, ever. Well, she tried to buy that house, and now everything that they built with this money, their Homes is a nonprofit, and they their mission is to help like low income and whatever. I'll have to pull up their mission and we'll read it. But she, as a single mom, but she has a good job. They wanted, and the way that they built these homes, they are all in the set, like a certain style. None of they don't build houses that are all different styles, and this and that. No, it's all one layout. It's all one design. It's all one, everything. And it's all, there isn't no frills or extras, right? It's just a basic 2-bedroom home, 1 story. That's it. They wanted to charge her $245,000 to purchase that home. So all that flood money, all those donations that came to Whitesburg that went to Homes Inc., I am very, very frustrated at what I'm learning. But for Appalachian Kentucky, the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky Schedule 1, this one actually shows who got money, how much, what for. the HVAC companies, local organizations, disaster relief. The key difference, some nonprofits pass money through others, absorb money into operations. Let's see. If my records request, let me grab what I got back from the county. You know, that went really well, right? So I put a public records request in with the county. And I got this back, and it says, Terry Adams, in response to your open records request received on March 13th, your information will be available on May 16th, 2026. You see that? March, April, May. So I guess it's going to take them 2 months to get my information together.
Well, you must have made a big request.
Well, this is what I got back. Just asking for information. And the response says May 16th. Now, I'm not saying that means that anything is wrong, but here's what it does mean. We don't have any answers yet. That's what that means. And when you're talking about public funds, disaster money, millions of dollars, you know, that delay matters. People aren't looking for secrets. I ain't looking for no secrets. I ain't trying to expose nobody. I just want to answer. I just want to know how it works, you know. I mean, my suspicious mind might be a little bit suspicious, but who cares what I think? What we're looking for, what we're asking, just who got help? How much went out? Where did it actually go? Numbers don't lie. Math don't lie like people do. Why this is so hard to track? Well, because the system is built this way. Nonprofits, I'm going to start me one. I'm going to start the Hillbilly House. I have learned. What is that? I have seen. Oh, what's that? It's in my head. How much Jenkins get and its homeowners there? Jenkins ain't in none of this stuff. I don't think. Let's see. Very transparent. Tells how much got raised and shows them handing out stuff to the public. Yeah, no right to regular people. Like us, no third parties. Oh, I was wondering what you was talking about. A little off topic, but I love how on Ryan Hall, y'all's channel, hands out things people need after being hit by tornadoes and stuff. Yes, I would rather donate to a channel like that where we see the good. Yes, Little Kentucky. I have seen Ryan Hall since he started because, you know, he's from Pikeville. So I started watching him. Look, Emmy, I enjoy his channel. Yeah, I started watching him a few years ago, or like whenever we moved here in this house, actually, was when I started watching him. And anytime we get real big snowstorms or anytime some kind of big tragedy happens, you know, he's got that Reinhog, the Y'all Squad or whatever it is. And look at how he has built his. I think that it is a great example and he could be a great example to other people trying to put nonprofits together. Whenever you start getting too politically connected in those big nonprofits, when you start getting when you start seeing the millions and you can see where the political people are sending it, well, it just sends red flags up for me. It just does. Because so many people get screwed out of it. They just do. All right. Let's see. What was I saying? Because the system is built this way, nonprofits report categories, totals, not detailed distributions. And unless they choose to disclose more, you don't see the full picture. So here's where we are. Millions came into Eastern Kentucky after the flood. That's not in question. And nonprofits played a big role in handling that money. Now, that's not in question either. But what is still unclear is exactly how that money translated into help on the ground. Who got it, how much, and how far it actually went. Now, I've got records requests in, and when those come back, we're going to go through them together. No spin, just guess, and no guessing, just facts, because this isn't about tearing anybody down. Man alive, just because we talk about something doesn't mean it's negative. And I'm just an old suspicious fuddy-duddy. I can't help myself. It's just the way I'm built. We're true crimers. What do they expect? I think the Adams grant was for work on Homes Inc. rentals. Well, I mean, they needed it, I'm sure. I'm sure they needed the work done. I don't know. Who knows? The amount of money, though, that we've got coming through Letcher County in these nonprofits is in the hundreds of millions of dollars when you put it all together. When you add it all up together, it's a whole lot of money. And it just makes me wonder, it makes me question, who's actually in control of all this? Who's the influence? Who are the influential people who are overlapping on all these board of directors? That's who I want to find out. I want to find out who's actually the ones behind the closed doors, behind that curtain. Remember the Wizard of Oz? Who's the wizard sitting behind the curtain, pulling all the strings and the levers? I can't help it. Little Kentucky. Yes, I agree with you. I think the Hillbilly House ain't a bad idea. We know you would help people. Well, what I would do with the Hillbilly House is that I would buy sports equipment for single parent families. So if they needed a glove, for their T-baller or their minor leaguer, or if they needed cleats for their new little leaguer, single parent families, sports is very expensive. And not all schools and not all team members, can provide it to everybody. So that's what I would do with the Hillbilly House. We would absolutely provide sports equipment, and maybe not just sports equipment, maybe whatever extracurricular activity that a child would like to do. But, sports is just, it's our thing. So you can't be everything to everybody. But anyway. All right. Well, let's see. So what I was saying was, it's not about tearing anybody down. It's about making sure that when help comes into a place like this, it actually reaches the people that it was meant for. There's a lot of, there were some places doubled their revenue and their income, or, maybe not income, that might be the wrong word, but a couple of organizations doubled their own personal, for their place, doubled it the same year of the flood. Like, how do you go, like with homes, their end of the year, like revenue or whatever it was 1.7 million before the flood. After the flood, it was like $4 million. So it enriched them very much. It enriched that organization a ton. And there's not a lot of records, not public records anyway. And it sure isn't in their tax filings. But when you try, like I said, when you try and track those other things that should also go up along with the materials, it's not there. It's not there. So, what's that mean? I know what it says to me. All right. Now, if you've seen how this played out, if you've got information, or if you're just trying to understand like me, drop it in the comments and let's figure it all out together. Thank you, Eddie Judd. I appreciate you. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and close this one out tonight. Make sure that you are following the Patreon. I put something up today. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm going to show you a couple things real quick. We've got this up and going now, guys. We've got the Hillbilly Crime Investigates Apple Podcasts. So we are on Apple Podcasts, and we've got several different episodes up already. So we've got that going, and we have this. We also have Hillbilly Crime Investigates on Spotify. So we are on both now. Both places you can find us. We've got several different episodes on both. And then we also, just to kind of give you another peek, we've got our Patreon. So this is our Patreon page. We've got our library. Oops. Well, let me go.
Chances in the item shop.
It don't matter. Go to our collections. We've got 2 different podcasts now. We've got the Hillbilly Crime Time podcast, and we've got the Hillbilly Power podcast. We also have the Hillbilly Power article section. You've got the public power. Now that's where I've been putting the videos and the clips of the public commenters and stuff. We've also been putting them up on YouTube too. Follow the flood money. We've got the flood money collection. I need to update Corey Richens. The prayer room. We've got our prayer room. That's where we have our Sunday night Bible study and anything that would go under there. And then we've just got a few other things. The Mullins files. That's where you're going to find any kind of documents, lawsuits, depositions, stuff like that will go underneath there. And then you've just got several of them. Courthouse brothel, the rehab connection, the missing. I've been doing a lot of work, y'all. I am working my tail off. All right. Well, thank you, Jesus, for another day being able to come together in your name, Lord. I praise you, Jesus. I'm thankful that I woke up this morning. None of us are promised tomorrow. We ain't promised today. But I'm thankful for another day being able to be a mother to my sons and just being able to be alive. Another day to do it better. Every day I fail, Lord. Every day I fall on my face. I say things I shouldn't say, and I just struggle. I struggle, Lord, with a lot of things. I pray that you help me to let go of that chip on my shoulder. I pray that you help me to forgive the ones that I'm holding on to. I pray that you help me be a better me tomorrow than I was today. Forgive me for my sins, Lord. I feel like the chief sinner most days. But hallelujah, Lord, your mercy renews in the morning. Joy is coming in the morning. Amen, amen. What is it? Weeping may last but a night, but joy is coming in the morning. We lift everybody up to you tonight, Lord, that are needing a touch from you. There's a lot of people that are struggling with grief tonight, struggling with medical issues and surgeries and mental health issues, you name it. But you know all about it. You know how many hairs are on each of our heads at all given times. So you know exactly what we're struggling with. I rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. And I pray that you will take what the devil means for evil and that you will turn it around for the good of those who love you and who are called according to your purpose. I pray that you go with us tonight, Lord, and bring us back tomorrow safe at the appointed time. And until then, we give you all praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. Amen. Hallelujah. All right, guys. Oh, that was on my thing. Okay. I was like, there's something on my screen or my eyes going bad. But you got anything you want to say, Mom?
No, I think you do a good job doing all this stuff.
I wasn't trying to pick on them, you know.
No, I know you wasn't. I wasn't saying you were. You just wonder where all that money goes.
Mm-hmm. I do. And, you know, well, and it's usually only one person's job to keep track of all that stuff.
I don't know how they keep track of all of it.
There's not usually a whole bunch of people that are involved in all that stuff. So, you know, usually it's just one person that's the financial, depending on how big the organization is. But I've got experience. I have seen, I uncovered misappropriation of funding in an organization. And the people that were doing it then are still in Whitesburg, and they are still on the same boards, probably more of them now. And so, it just makes me wonder, what have they been doing all these years? Because they sure weren't doing good. They sure weren't doing the things that they were supposed to have been doing back then. So, but anyway. It ain't got nothing to do with me no more. It ain't my job. But see, that's the thing. People don't have time and it ain't their job. Well, whose job is it? Whose job is it to oversee this stuff? If nobody's looking, do you believe that everybody does the right thing when they know that nobody's looking? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
All right, guys. Well, you have a great rest of your night, Mommy. I'll see you later. I love you.
I love you too, and you're doing a good job.
Thanks. Peace out, Girl Scout.
Peace
Bye.
out, girl.
Can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dog passed away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.